Welcome. This is my Exploring Perspective channel. Here at Exploring Perspectives, we do many things, but the main concept of Exploring Perspectives is to broaden our views. We listen to other people's views, and when we do that without judgment and just take a minute to step out of our own perspective and step into somebody else's, we can learn so much. We can learn more about them. We can learn more about us, and we can continue to grow. I am also working on a growth-minded workshop that's going to be coming out in a month or two that I'm super excited about. I've put a lot of work and effort into this, and its main focus is targeted to people who are ready for change in their life when they're just so done. I'm like, I am so tired of the results my efforts are getting me. And it's geared towards that. And I take you step by step through skills and new mindsets that you could learn and adapt that can walk you through how to get more out of your life, how to get more out of your efforts and get the results that you're looking for. So I'm super excited about the workshop. It's going to be really neat, and I can't wait to launch that. So stay posted, stay tuned. All right. I am going to be doing live events more often. And now that I've figured out how to get my streaming software to actually go live on Facebook, it'll be a lot smoother next time and on time. So let's see. So I'm going to be doing these more regularly. I'll probably do them about twice a month on Wednesdays. I haven't decided if it's every other Wednesday or like the second and fourth. So stay tuned. On my website, I'll have a calendar that shows the events. I'll also put out messages and events that I can post so you can see and get invites to the events. All right. So are we ready to dive in? Tonight, we're talking about rise above your limits. It's one of my favorite topics, and I think it's a really impactful and powerful topic. It's a really I already said that. It's a really beautiful topic, but why? So let's dive in. Do you know what you're capable of? Do you know what your current limits are? How often have you tested them? How many of you have accepted those current limits? And just a little catch question, what do you think you can do that a man without legs and an arm can't do? Let's take a look. So there's this saying, the reason, not the excuse. Let me give you a little bit of my background, and then we'll get to where that phrase comes from. So I have a background of working with people with disabilities. It's always kind of been a part of my life. Even in elementary school, I remember skipping certain recesses to go volunteer in the special needs class. I've just always been drawn to it. I've wanted to understand what that world is like, and I got to see a lot of different people. My early adult life, in my family, in my first marriage, in my kids, in friends, so many friends that struggle with chronic pain. And I've lost friends to pain and disabilities and health challenges. And then in my work background, I have worked in the behavioral health field for the last 10 years, and that has been such a joy. When I first got into it, I was a little worried. I was a little worried that if I left my family, which I was a caretaker of, to go work with other people, I just thought I was going to be dead at the end of the day. Like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Is this just going to wear me out? I'll come home and I won't have any room on my plate. But it actually taught me more skills of how to manage being a caretaker even better. So I would say it even enhanced. But to get to the point, the reason, not the excuse, I was working with this little boy with autism, and I first walked into his house, and his mom said something to me that caught my attention. She says, autism is the reason, not his excuse. And I don't think I fully understood the gravity of that phrase. And that's something that has stuck with me throughout the years. Like, what does that even really mean? The reason, not the excuse. Well, let's dive into that. And I think we'll have a better idea in a minute. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about 3 powerful examples that have impacted my life and made an impression on me. We're going to talk about being grateful for the turbulence in our lives. And we're going to talk about a choice that you have. All right, our first one, Nick Santonastasso. I don't know if you've heard of Nick. He is a motivational speaker and he has some books out. So Nick was born with only one arm. I know, it's crazy. He is so impressive. He has so much tenacity. We're going to watch a little video about Nick. Let me grab it. I think it's just at the end. Hold, please. I will find it. There we go. Transition. Let's do full screen. Okay.
In the most polite and nice way, my parents would put food in front of me and say, "Nick, figure it out."
Seriously?
Or put my clothes in front of me and say, "Nick, just figure it out. Like, try your way." And that's all they wanted me to do was, try my best to figure it out. And what that did was it got my mindset in the earliest of ages, got my mindset of the rhythm of, okay, it's not can't, but it's how. In the most polite and
Isn't that cool? He says it's not a matter of if or can, but how. And I love that point. I think it's such an incredible, strong point that when we really set our mind to something, it isn't a matter of if or can I. It's a matter of how. How am I going to? And I love it. It's a really great example. Nick has to do things differently in his life. He doesn't get to do it like an average person would. So that's his reason. His disabilities are his reason he has to do something different, not an excuse not to do them. It's his reason for doing it the way he does it. And I love it. His parents took a really different approach with him that I'm sure was so tough for them. But like he said, they put food in front of him and said, "Nick, figure it out. We want you to do it your way. We want you to be able to be successful." And because of that mindset that was instilled in him, he learned how to skateboard. He was doing a handstand on the skateboard and he was like, "Mom, Dad, look." And it was just amazing. This man welcomed the grit. He wanted to learn how to be tougher. He got into wrestling and this dude's so hardcore. He's amazing. I'll let you watch more of his interviews because it talks about how he even had surgery to cut off more of the limb that wasn't fully developed so he could be a better wrestler. Like he went to so many lengths to be able to be successful and be where he is. And nothing stopped him. That's tenacity. That's tenacious. So, story number 2, Sam's story. Sam grew up down the street from me, so he is my neighbor. And when Sam was older, he got into motorcycles. Actually, I don't know when he started getting into motorcycles, but in his adult life, he was in a motorcycle accident. And Sam broke bones from his arms down and in both of his legs, and ended up having to have one of his legs amputated. Sam is one of my heroes, and I should let him know that a little bit more. But Sam is an example to me about continuing to pursue your dreams, pursue your desires. Again, not an excuse, but just a reason to do it differently. Sam loves volleyball. So Sam, as you can see from my slides, Sam is on the U.S. men's sitting volleyball team. And they are so successful. I actually talked to him this morning and he is about to go play Canada. So go Sam. I hope it goes well. I hope the game goes well this week and that you play to your best ability and just excel. I hope it goes well. But you can see they went to the quarterfinal, or moved on to the quarterfinals after beating Iraq, and they play around the world, and he is incredible. And I love his story, that he decided to figure out a way to get around his limitations to still pursue what he wanted to do. My third story is Krista's story. Krista is a dancer, an incredible dancer. She was born ready to dance. When she was little, 2 years old, this girl was constantly on her tiptoes, constantly. As you can tell, she's mine. When she was 2 years old, she was always on her tiptoes. But not only that, she was twirling constantly. She would just spin and spin for hours. She wouldn't get sick. I don't even know how she did it. She wouldn't get dizzy. She wouldn't get sick. She would just twirl and twirl. And I knew then that dancing was going to be a part of her life. So it was fun to watch her develop and grow into that. We're going to watch a little video of her.
The sea, may you always find the answer to be free.
But what do you do when life gets in the way of your passions? Krista's senior year of high school was a difficult one. She ended up not even being able to attend most of it. That year brought a lot of doctors, hospitals, blood tests, poked with needles more times than you can imagine. But it brought a lot of pain and sorrow and took away some of the things that she loves. She ended up getting some diagnoses, autoimmune diseases, and we fought to get her to a stable place. 3 years down the road, we're still working on maintaining that stable place. It's a fight to maintain it. She hasn't been able to get back into dancing quite yet, even though that's her first love and passion. But Krista is finding ways to do other things that she loves while she's working on that journey. She has developed a talent for sewing and fashion. She's in the middle of creating her own clothing line. And she crochets up a storm. She's so incredible at crochet. This girl can pick a talent up and just put time into it and make it amazing. I'm so proud of her. She's an incredible example to me of tenacity, of waking up day after day, battling day after day, not giving up. Some days are hard. Some days kick your butt. But she continues on every day. I know I've highlighted a few examples that mostly have to do with physical disabilities, but I want to have a quick little caveat for mental disabilities as well. Depression, anxiety, social anxiety, ADHD, the diagnoses can go on and on. Those can bring people real challenges. Lots of experience in my world and surrounding world with those. But fighting it day after day and using that, it's the reason, not the excuse. ADHD is the reason I have to do it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way before I can get to this result. I can't do it like you do it. It's the reason I do it a different way than you do it. But it's not an excuse not to try. It's not an excuse not to get there. Social anxiety. I have a kiddo with really bad social anxiety, and it's hard. But we have put into place a plan. Getting out the front door is like going through a brick wall. It feels impossible. It feels hard. But we assist in throwing her over the brick wall, getting them through the wall, and giving it a try. So our plan is always we'll give it a shot. Give it a try. Give it 5 minutes. And most of the time, usually after you get past that brick wall, it gets really good. But there's days where it's like, okay, I'm trying, but it's not working. I need to come back. Like, okay, great. You gave it a shot. You tried. You put effort into it. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to push past those limits. We look to challenge ourselves. We look to rise above. It's going to be hard, but that's what it's about. It's about the hard. It's about the challenge, which takes us to the next slide. There we go. It's already in transition. Our next slide. This is a quote by Eddie Pinero. If you don't know Eddie Pinero, he's on YouTube. He has really inspirational videos, and he's become one of my favorites. And I love this one of his latest quotes. Just like a physical muscle on our body, our resilience and strength can only grow when stretched beyond perceived limits. And that's the very place. That's the very place where we learn how strong we really are and define new limits. New limits. We don't accept the ones we are because we have been through a huge storm and we thought were our limits. Now we get to see how strong we really are and define new limits. He says, be grateful. Be grateful for the turbulence, for it is the sculptor of your excellence, showing you what you've been capable of since day one. I love those lines. I am not a stranger to turbulence. I have been through some very tough things and constant. Like it doesn't let up. And I'm finally to a point in my life where it's like, oh, one hard thing's going on, piece of cake. The whole world isn't crashing. Like there's not 8 hard things going on. Just one, I can do this. But each of those trials, I will admit, helped me become stronger. Helped me reach to newer limits that I didn't know I was capable of. I didn't know that I could get to a place where I would be grateful for that. I'm not sure years ago I could have said I would have ever thought I would have gotten there. But I can tell you firmly that it is those challenges in our life where we get to meet our true selves. I heard this quote from Ed Mylett, and I'm pretty sure he was paraphrasing or quoting the author of Think and Grow Rich. And it says, on the other side of pain, you will meet somebody new. You will meet a new version of yourself. I love that. It's so powerful. We learn more about ourselves. We learn more of who we are, and we see what we're capable of and grow. And all of that was in us from day one. It just gets to come out now. So, the choice. What choice do you have? You can choose to focus on the negative, or you can choose to focus on the good and what you are capable of doing. What can I do? What occasion can I rise to? How can I push past this the most? What do I want? And it really takes knowing what you want out of life. I want this. Well, go for it. There's no limitation. Nothing anybody says can stop you from seeking it. It takes your desire, your willpower to go after it. So, what are your limits? What are you truly capable of? I'd love to have a discussion. Feel free to post in the comments. If you post in the comments, like what things you're working on rising above in your life. Yeah, and we can carry on the conversation. But that's my presentation for this evening. Rise above your limits. You are strong. You are capable. You are powerful. You're incredible. Don't resign. Don't sit there wishing away life saying, oh, if I only had this, or oh, if I only had that. I've seen many people take that approach. That's a tough one. Because when you're sitting there wishing, okay, well, I would do this if I had that, but I don't have that, so I'm not going to. No, don't accept that. Make amazing things with what you have. Even if you feel like it's limited, even if you feel like you have the worst poker hand in the world, there's still a way to accomplish things. There's still a way to use what you currently have to make something out of. Go for it. I challenge you. Yay! Thank you so much for attending. Fist bump. Boom. I will be doing more of these, and we'll be going live, like I said, a couple times a month, usually on Wednesday nights. So keep posted for, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, stay tuned for new events. And thanks for joining me tonight.